My boss suddenly kissed me during an argument, then said, "That kiss was only for you." Stars stretched in every direction, painting the darkness with tiny sparks of light. The ship moved smoothly through the expanse of space, yet there was tension thick enough to touch in the air. Ilara Vega stood by the navigation console, her fingers tapping rapidly across the controls. Her brow furrowed as she checked the latest readings from the nebula ahead. The clouds of ionized gas shimmered in blues and purples, swirling unpredictably. If the sensors were correct, this sector was beautiful but dangerous. She was focused, calculating, prepared. And yet she could feel the presence behind her. "Do you always have to argue with every calculation?" Captain Ryan Cale's voice broke through her concentration, sharp but not unkind. Ilara spun around, startled, her hair swinging around her shoulders. "I'm not arguing," she said firmly. "I'm just pointing out that your proposed route could send us directly into the densest part of the nebula. That's risky." Cale leaned casually against the railing, arms crossed. His dark eyes studied her, unblinking. "Risk is what makes this fun," he said with a half-smile. "But I trust your instincts mostly. Still, sometimes humans overthink things." Ilara's eyes narrowed. "Overthink? I am following the readings. You're the captain, yes, but even you can't ignore physics." "Physics, yes. But intuition, Ilara, intuition matters too." His smile widened, teasing. "Sometimes the human mind finds solutions no sensor can detect. That's why I keep you around." Her cheeks warmed, though she tried to hide it. She opened her mouth to retort, then closed it. She hated being flustered in front of him, but somehow, Cale had a way of breaking her focus with just a few words. They stood there for a moment, the tension growing between them like static electricity. The hum of the engines, the blinking lights on the console, even the distant stars seemed to fade, leaving only the two of them. And then, in a moment that made Ilara's heart nearly stop, Cale stepped closer. His hand brushed against hers as he reached to adjust a control. His eyes locked on hers. "Ilara," he said softly. Before she could respond, he leaned in and kissed her. It was quick but electric and left her breathless. For a moment, the nebula, the engines, the ship, everything seemed to disappear. Her mind blanked, leaving only the shock and the warmth of the contact. When he pulled back, he looked at her seriously. "That kiss was only for you," he said, his voice quiet yet firm. Ilara's jaw dropped. She blinked, trying to process what had just happened. She could barely find her voice. "Why you what?" Cale's lips curved into a faint smile. "I said it was only for you. There's no one else, Ilara, only you." Her mind raced. Only her, here, in the middle of a nebula, far from Earth, in a ship with only a handful of crew. It didn't make sense, yet she couldn't deny the strange fluttering in her chest. I don't," she began, but Cale held up a hand, cutting her off gently. "Don't think about it," he said. "Not yet, not here." He gestured to the console. "We have bigger things to focus on." Ilara tried to nod, though her thoughts refused to obey. She returned to the console, fingers shaking slightly as she recalculated the ship's path. She kept her eyes on the sensors, on the glowing map of the nebula, but her mind kept drifting back to Cale and that sudden, impossible kiss. The ship's AI, a smooth, calm female voice named Lyra, interrupted her thoughts. "Captain Cale, navigational systems indicate turbulence within the nebula ahead. Probability of minor ion storms increased by 27%. Cale nodded, not taking his eyes off her. "Good, see. I told you risk is part of exploration." "And humans are perfect for handling risk." Ilara frowned. "I'm not perfect, I'm careful, I calculate." "Careful is fine," Cale said, leaning closer again, though he respected the professional boundary. "But sometimes only a human can see what a machine cannot." "That's why you're here, that's why I chose you." She swallowed hard. "Chosen? For what?" The thought made her stomach twist. As the ship drew closer to the nebula, the lights on the bridge reflected off the metal walls, casting long shadows. Outside, the clouds of gas shimmered with unnatural colors, purple, teal, and flashes of gold that no human sky had ever known. Ilara's fingers hovered over the controls, her mind half on the readings, half on the impossible kiss and Kale's words. Kale watched her, a faint smile tugging at his lips. He seemed to enjoy watching her struggle to maintain professionalism. "Don't worry," he said quietly. "This is just the beginning. You'll see why I trust you. You'll see why you're the only one who could handle what's coming." Ilara's brow furrowed. "What's coming?" she asked, though a part of her feared she didn't want the answer. Kale didn't answer directly. He merely turned back to the navigational console, his hands moving expertly over the controls, charting their path. The stars outside stretched and swirled, and the nebula seemed to pulse, alive and mysterious. The hum of the engines was steady, but in her chest, Ilara could feel a different kind of vibration, a mix of fear, curiosity, and something else, something unfamiliar and thrilling. Suddenly, the console beeped urgently. A new anomaly had appeared on the sensors. A small, shimmering shape moved inside the nebula, defying known physics. Ilara's eyes widened. "Captain, what is that?" Kale's gaze sharpened. "I don't know yet," he said, voice tight with focus. "But I think it's why I brought us here." The shape shimmered, changing colors rapidly. Lyra's voice added, calm but slightly cautious, "Object detected, unknown, no matching data in human or AI databases." Ilara felt a thrill run down her spine. This was the unknown. This was the reason she had joined the Aurora's Dawn, to explore, to discover, to see what no one else could. And yet, this wasn't just about science. Her heart still raced at the memory of Kale's lips, the weight of his words lingering in her mind. Kale turned to her again, his expression serious. "Ilara, I need your instincts, not the AI's, not mine, yours." Her hands trembled slightly as she adjusted the console. "Why, yes, Captain." "Good," he said, his voice softened. "I trust you." The stars outside danced, the nebula pulsed, and Ilara realized she was standing on the edge of something far bigger than either of them. The universe was alive with mystery, and for the first time she felt completely alive herself. And somewhere in the midst of all the calculations, the alien shapes and the swirling gases, she couldn't stop thinking of that kiss, and what it really meant. Only for her, he had said. Only for her. The Aurora's Dawn pressed on into the unknown, carrying two humans on a collision course with a destiny they could not yet see. The nebula stretched before the Aurora's Dawn, a swirling cloud of colors that seemed alive. Purple and teal gases twisted and danced in the void, reflecting in the windows of the bridge like liquid light. Ilara Vega sat at the console, her fingers hovering over the controls. She could feel her heartbeat in her throat, both from excitement and the lingering memory of Captain Ryan Kale's unexpected kiss. The shimmering object had not disappeared. Instead, it moved in strange, unpredictable patterns. It was small, but it pulsed with energy unlike anything recorded in human or AI databases. Lyra, the ship's AI, kept updating readings, but even she admitted she couldn't identify the anomaly. "Ilara," Kale's voice broke through the silence, gentle but firm. "I need you to analyze it, carefully, every reading, every detail. I trust your instincts more than my own right now." Ilara swallowed, her fingers dancing over the console as she accessed every sensor the ship had. "Yes, Captain, I'll start a full analysis immediately." As the data streamed in, she noticed patterns. The object wasn't stationary, it seemed to move with purpose. It avoided the densest clouds of the nebula as if it were intelligent, or at least aware. "Captain, look at this," she said, pointing to a projection of the object on the holographic display. "Its path is deliberate, it's not random, it's intelligent." Kale leaned closer, his dark eyes reflecting the swirling nebula outside. "Exactly what I thought," he said quietly. "And that's why I brought us here. This is not just a nebula. There's something inside, something ancient, something waiting." Ilara frowned. "Waiting for what?" Kale didn't answer immediately. He leaned against the railing, studying her as though reading her thoughts. "For humans," he finally said. "Or more precisely, for the right human." Alara's pulse quickened. "Me?" she asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. Kale's lips curved into a faint, enigmatic smile. "Possibly, you'll see." Alara felt a mixture of thrill and unease. She had faced many challenges before, but nothing like this. The universe was showing her something new, something she couldn't yet understand. And somehow she sensed Kale had orchestrated more than just the ship's course. The anomaly pulsed again, sending a soft glow across the bridge. Lyra's voice broke the spell. "Captain, the object is emitting low-level energy pulses. They are compatible with human biosignatures." Alara's eyes widened. "Compatible with humans, not AI." "Exactly," Kale said, his expression unreadable. "Humans are unique. There are qualities in our minds, our intuition, our emotions, that even the most advanced AI cannot replicate. And this object, it responds to that uniqueness." Alara felt a strange warmth in her chest. It wasn't just pride. It was more, something powerful, something that made her feel essential. She had always known humans could achieve remarkable things, but this was different. Here, in the vast expanse of space, her very being seemed important to the universe itself. "Captain, what if it doesn't respond to me the way you expect?" she asked, her voice trembling slightly. Kale's gaze softened. "Then we learn, we adapt, but I have faith in you, Alara, more faith than I can explain right now." Alara nodded, forcing herself to focus. She could feel the ship gently shifting as Kale adjusted their course, moving closer to the anomaly. Outside, the nebula's gases twisted and shimmered like ribbons of light. Hours passed. Alara worked tirelessly at the console, analyzing every pulse, every fluctuation, every subtle change in the anomaly's behavior. She began to notice a pattern, a rhythm in the pulses that reminded her of a heartbeat. A heartbeat. That didn't make sense. But the more she studied it, the more it felt alive, almost sentient. "Captain, I think it's trying to communicate," she said, her voice filled with awe. Kale stepped closer, his hand brushing hers as he looked at the readings. "Communicate? Interesting," he murmured. "How do you propose we respond?" Alara hesitated. I'm not sure, but maybe it's not words it wants. Maybe it wants action. Maybe it wants understanding." Kale's eyes met hers, and for a moment the world seemed to shrink until only they existed on the bridge. "You're the right person for this, Alara. I don't just mean the anomaly, I mean everything. Your mind, your instincts, your humanity." Alara felt heat rush to her cheeks. The memory of the kiss, the weight of his words, lingered stronger than ever. "Captain, she stopped herself. She didn't know what to say. Kale didn't push. Instead, he turned back to the console, giving her space, yet his presence remained close, comforting. "Focus on the anomaly," he said. "Everything else will follow." Alara took a deep breath and let herself concentrate. She realized she could feel the rhythm of the anomaly's pulses almost instinctively, as if her mind was connecting with it in a way no machine could. She adjusted the ship's shields and sensors in response, creating subtle shifts that seemed to match the pattern. Suddenly, the object changed. Its pulses brightened, forming a cascading pattern of light. The ship's sensors flared, confirming that some kind of resonance had occurred. Alara gasped. "It worked, it's responding." Kale's eyes shone with excitement. "Yes, you did it. You understand it." A thrill of pride surged through her. She felt the energy of the anomaly, the ship, and the nebula around her. She was part of something vast, something ancient, something alive. And she had made a connection that no AI, no human, no machine could replicate. The anomaly pulsed again, stronger this time, and projected a holographic form in the center of the bridge. It wasn't solid, but it shimmered with light and color, forming patterns that shifted and flowed like living art. Alara's breath caught. It was beautiful, mesmerizing, and completely alien. "Captain, it's showing itself," she whispered. Kale nodded, equally captivated. "Yes, and it's acknowledging you, You, Alara, this is what I meant when I said I brought you here. Alara's mind raced. She had always known humans could adapt, could explore, could overcome challenges. But this was beyond exploration. This was recognition by something not human, not alive in any traditional sense, yet aware, and it had chosen her. The holographic form pulsed with color again, forming shapes that suggested doors, paths, and maps. Alara realized it was guiding them, showing them a route deeper into the nebula. But more than that, it seemed to test her, presenting challenges in the form of energy patterns that required precise alignment to continue. Kale leaned over her shoulder, whispering, "Your instincts, Alara, trust them." Her fingers flew over the console, adjusting energy fields, shields, and sensors to match the patterns. Each successful alignment made the holographic form pulse with brighter colors, almost as if it were smiling, or something like a smile. Hours passed, though time felt different inside the nebula. Outside, the swirling gases shimmered and shifted as though alive, watching. Lyra's calm voice kept them informed of energy levels, pulse rates, and ship stability, but the real work was human. Alara's intuition, creativity, and understanding of patterns guided them through the alien puzzle. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the anomaly pulsed one last time, brighter than before. The holographic form expanded, revealing a structure, an ancient alien artifact suspended in the nebula, glowing softly. It was unlike anything Alara had ever seen, organic yet mechanical, delicate yet massive, a perfect combination of beauty and intelligence. Kale's eyes widened. Incredible, it's waiting for humanity, not machines, and it has waited a long time. Alara took a deep breath, still in awe. So it was all for us, for humans. Kale smiled softly, turning to her. Not all humans, only the right ones. Only those who can understand, who can connect. And you proved it. Alara's heart raced. Pride, excitement, and something warmer, something more personal, surged inside her. She looked at Kale, and for a brief moment, words weren't necessary. The memory of the kiss, the weight of his faith in her, and the recognition from the anomaly all blended into something indescribable. "We did it," she whispered. Kale nodded. "Yes, we did, and this is just the beginning." Outside, the nebula pulsed with life, colors shifting and glowing, as if welcoming the humans who had dared to enter its depths. And inside the bridge, two humans stood together, connected by trust, understanding, and the promise of the unknown. The alien structure hovered in the center of the nebula like a jewel suspended in liquid light. Its surface shimmered with colors that defied description, swirling and shifting in patterns that seemed almost alive. Alara Vega stood at the main console, her eyes wide with wonder. She had never seen anything like this, not in simulations, not in data logs, not even in humanity's oldest space archives. Captain Ryan Kale remained close by, his presence steady but intense. He had stepped back just enough to let Alara lead, yet he stayed within reach, his eyes scanning the artifact with a mixture of awe and calculation. Alara's fingers danced across the controls as she attempted to map the energy pulses emanating from the structure. Each pulse was precise, rhythmic, and strangely inviting. It was as though the structure itself was conscious, aware, and waiting for them to respond. "Captain," Alara said, her voice trembling slightly, "I think it's teaching us. Every pulse, every light sequence, it's like a language." Kale nodded slowly. "I thought the same, but it's more than language. It's patterns, logic, and emotion, perhaps. Something no AI alone could interpret. That's why I needed you here. That's why only a human could." Alara swallowed hard. The weight of his words pressed against her chest, but she pushed it aside. She had a task: understand the structure and connect with it. And somehow she could feel that connection, subtle yet undeniable, coursing through her mind and heart. She reached out, placing her hands over the main control panel. The lights of the artifact responded instantly, pulsing in a rhythm that matched her heartbeat. Her mind raced, sensing the flow, anticipating the next sequence. Slowly the lights formed geometric patterns, lines, circles, spirals, all glowing with soft energy. "Elara, it's responding to you," Kale whispered, almost reverently. "Yes," she breathed, her eyes fixed on the display. "It wants us to follow the patterns to align them. I think it's opening something. A pathway." Kale moved closer, his hand brushing hers again as he pointed to a complex pattern of lights. "Your intuition, Elara, trust it. Don't overthink." She nodded, focusing entirely on the sequence. Slowly, deliberately, she shifted energy flows, aligning the glowing shapes in the proper order. Each success caused the structure to hum softly, as if acknowledging her efforts. Minutes turned into hours as she worked, completely absorbed. Time seemed to lose meaning. Outside, the nebula swirled in brilliant colors, reflecting in the ship's windows. Every pulse from the alien artifact sent waves of energy through the ship, and with each wave, Elara felt a strange clarity, a connection that went beyond human understanding. Finally, a massive pulse surged through the structure. The lights expanded, revealing a doorway, or at least what looked like a doorway, though it wasn't solid. It shimmered with energy, inviting, beckoning. Kale's eyes glimmered. "You did it, Elara. You opened it." Her breath caught. We did it together," she said, though deep down she knew the truth. Without her instincts, her understanding, and her humanity, the artifact would have remained silent and closed. The doorway shimmered, showing a glimpse of something beyond. At first it was just light, soft, golden, comforting. Then shapes began to form, halls, chambers, corridors lined with glowing symbols. Elara's mind raced. This was not just an artifact. It was a gateway, a bridge to knowledge humanity had never dreamed of. Kale placed a hand on her shoulder, steadying her. "Be careful, Elara. We don't know what's waiting inside, but I knew you could do this. That's why I trusted you. That's why," he paused, looking at her with a faint, almost shy smile, "I trusted only you." Her heart raced at his words, and she felt the warmth of the memory of his kiss. But she pushed aside the personal emotions, focusing on the task at hand. They had a doorway to explore, a structure that had waited for millennia to be understood by someone like her. "Prepare the ship," she said finally. "We'll need stable shields in case the energy levels fluctuate when we step through." Kale nodded, moving to the navigation console. "Already done, but I want you to go first." Elara hesitated, feeling both thrill and fear. "Me, first." "Yes," Kale said firmly. "You made the connection. You understand the rhythm. You need to lead." Her chest tightened, but she nodded. Taking a deep breath, she activated the sequence that would project a safe corridor through the shimmering doorway. Energy flowed around the ship, stabilizing the field. Slowly, carefully, the Aurora's dawn moved closer, the doorway expanding to envelop it. Inside, the stars outside seemed to fade, replaced by the glowing corridors of the artifact. The ship floated gently, carried by the energy currents that responded to Elara's commands. She could feel the structure guiding them, anticipating her movements, matching her instinctive decisions. "Look at that," Kale whispered, pointing to the walls of the corridor. Symbols glowed softly, forming patterns she didn't recognize, but somehow they felt familiar. Each symbol seemed to resonate with her, as if acknowledging her presence. Elara studied them, realizing that the patterns were like a map, not of physical space, but of knowledge. Each glowing shape represented a concept, a principle, an idea, and as she traced them with her fingers, she could feel understanding forming in her mind, an intuitive grasp of things beyond human science. "Captain, it's showing us everything," she whispered, awe-filled. "Knowledge, technology, navigation methods beyond anything humans have discovered." Kale's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Yes, and it chose you to see it first. Humanity, you are capable of more than we've ever imagined." Her chest swelled with pride, not for herself, but for humanity. This wasn't about her alone. Humans had created ships, explored stars, and survived impossible conditions. And now, something ancient and alien recognized that potential. She felt a surge of purpose, a sense that humans truly belonged among the stars. Suddenly, a new energy pattern appeared, more complex than any they had encountered. It was rapid, intricate, and seemed almost like a puzzle designed to test her. Ilara's brow furrowed. "It's asking me to solve something. A test," Kale nodded, stepping closer. "Yes, but it's a test for humans, not machines. Only someone with intuition, creativity, and understanding of unpredictability could solve it. You can do this, Ilara." She swallowed, feeling the weight of the responsibility. Her hands hovered over the console, analyzing the rapid sequence of pulses. Slowly, deliberately, she began to align the energy flows, matching each pulse with her instinctive understanding. Hours passed in focused silence. The ship's systems hummed, the alien energy flowed, and Ilara's mind worked in perfect harmony with the structure. Kale occasionally glanced over, offering encouragement but never interfering. Finally, with a final precise alignment, the complex pattern resolved. The corridor ahead shimmered brighter than ever, and a soft, melodic hum filled the air. The alien artifact had acknowledged her success. Kale's face lit up. "You did it, Ilara. You truly did it." She smiled, exhausted but exhilarated. "We did it together," she corrected gently, though she knew that her role was unique. The corridor ahead revealed a central chamber, vast and awe-inspiring. Light flowed from the walls, forming a network of energy that seemed to pulse like a living organism. And at the center floated a holographic sphere, radiating knowledge and understanding in all directions. This is incredible," Ilara breathed. "It's a repository of everything it knows, and it's sharing it with us." Kale placed a hand on her shoulder, his eyes soft. "Not just sharing it, recognizing humanity, recognizing you. I don't know how else to explain it, Ilara. That kiss, those words, I meant them. Only you could do this." Her heart raced at his words, a mix of emotion and pride. She looked at him, and for a moment the vastness of the artifact, the nebula, and the universe outside faded. Here, in this moment, they were connected, not just by duty, but by mutual respect, trust, and something unspoken that had been growing since that first kiss. Ilara turned back to the sphere, placing her hands over the controls. Light flowed into her fingertips, transmitting knowledge, patterns, and insights directly to her mind. She understood navigation techniques beyond light speed, energy manipulation, and principles that could change the future of human exploration. She realized something profound. Humans weren't just explorers or creators, they were connectors. They could understand, adapt, and relate in ways no machine could. And this artifact, this ancient alien intelligence, had chosen to share its secrets because it recognized that potential. Kale watched her closely, pride and admiration shining in his eyes. "Ilara, humanity shines through you. You've proven it." A warmth spread through her chest, stronger than pride or excitement. It was a feeling of belonging, purpose, and connection. And somewhere deep inside, she knew this was just the beginning. Outside, the nebula continued to swirl and glow, alive and patient. Inside, Ilara and Kale stood together, ready to uncover secrets that would change humanity's place in the universe forever. The central chamber of the alien artifact glowed softly, a warm, living light that seemed to pulse in rhythm with Ilara's heartbeat. The holographic sphere hovered in the center, radiating knowledge that felt both infinite and intimate. Every surface around her shimmered with energy patterns, as if the structure itself were alive, watching and waiting. Ilara's fingers hovered over the controls, reluctant to touch anything too soon. The energy pulses had become more complex, almost like a challenge. Each wave seemed to test her intuition, her understanding, and her patience. It was as if the artifact wanted to see not only what humans could learn, but what they could create in response. Captain Ryan Kale stood behind her, observing quietly. His usual confidence was tempered by awe, his eyes tracing the patterns with care. He had trusted Alara from the start, but even he could not have predicted the depth of connection she had formed with the artifact. "Alara," he said softly, "it's giving us something more. I think it wants action, not just observation." She nodded slowly. "I can feel it. It's like it's alive, testing us. If we align with it, maybe we can unlock what it's been holding for centuries." Kale stepped closer, his presence steadying. "And that's why I chose you. I trust your instincts. Only a human could do this." Alara felt her chest tighten. His words, his gaze, the memory of his kiss, all of it mingled with her sense of purpose. She pushed aside the personal feelings, though they hummed at the edge of her mind, and focused on the task before her. The first challenge appeared as a sudden surge of energy from the sphere. Patterns formed rapidly, swirling in intricate spirals and shifting colors. At first, Alara felt overwhelmed. The speed and complexity were beyond anything she had seen. "Captain, this is advanced," she whispered, her hands moving over the console. "It's asking for more than observation, it's asking for creation." Kale nodded. "Then create, Alara. Humans are made for this. Adapt, respond, innovate. That's what makes us different." Taking a deep breath, she let instinct guide her. She began to manipulate the energy patterns, shifting their alignment, matching pulses, and creating new sequences. Her mind worked in tandem with the artifact, a feedback loop forming between human intuition and alien intelligence. The chamber pulsed in response. Lights shifted and swirled, forming shapes that resembled structures, devices, even concepts she couldn't name. Every movement she made was mirrored by the artifact, a dance of understanding across species and centuries. Kale watched her, pride evident in his eyes. "This is it, Alara. This is what I meant when I said humans are special. Machines could never do this. Only a human mind can bridge the gap." Hours passed, though time felt suspended. The ship floated steadily in the chamber, protected by the artifact's energy field. Outside, the nebula shimmered, a living sea of colors, but inside, the focus was entirely on the human spark guiding the ship forward. Alara began to notice patterns in the artifact's tests. It wasn't random. Each challenge built upon the previous one, requiring creativity, logic, and intuition. She realized that the artifact was teaching them, but also learning from them. It recognized qualities that no AI could simulate: empathy, curiosity, resilience. "Captain," she said finally, her voice steady but filled with awe, "I think it's learning from us, from humans, from me." Kale nodded, a faint smile tugging at his lips. "Exactly, and that's why your role is so important. You're not just solving problems. You're showing it what humans are capable of." Alara felt a surge of pride, but it was tempered by humility. She was just one person, yet her actions carried the weight of all humanity. She thought of Earth, of the countless explorers, scientists, and thinkers who had come before her. And now, in this alien chamber, she was their representative. Another challenge appeared, a complex energy lattice, glowing with multiple colors and layers. The patterns shifted unpredictably, forming loops, spirals, and intersections. At first, Alara's hands hovered uncertainly. The lattice seemed impossible to solve. Kale placed a hand gently on her shoulder. "You can do this, Alara. Trust your instincts. Humans are not machines. We adapt, we innovate, we find solutions where none seem possible." She closed her eyes for a moment, letting her mind settle. She imagined the patterns as living entities, flowing and responding to her thoughts. Slowly, deliberately, she began to align the lattice, adjusting flows of energy in ways that felt natural. The sphere pulsed in response, brighter and warmer than before. The lattice resolved, forming a perfect structure of glowing light. Alara felt a thrill of triumph, not just for herself but for humanity. She had bridged the gap between human intuition and alien intelligence. Kale's eyes shone with admiration. "You did it, Alara. You truly did it." She smiled, exhausted but exhilarated. "We did it together," she said, glancing at him, though she knew the truth. Her human spark had been essential. The artifact pulsed once more, and a new doorway appeared, leading to a chamber deeper within. This one was larger, filled with energy streams that twisted and moved like living rivers of light. The air, or what passed for air inside the energy field, was warm and tinged with a faint hum that resonated in her chest. "Alara," Kale said quietly, "this is it, the final test. The heart of the artifact." She nodded, stepping forward. Her hands moved over the console, stabilizing the ship's position. As they approached the chamber, she could feel the energy flowing directly to her, probing, assessing, connecting. The chamber ahead was filled with symbols that glowed with intense light, forming a complex web of knowledge. She realized that this was not just a repository of information. It was a test of understanding, creativity, and insight. Kale stood beside her, his hand brushing hers again, a silent encouragement. "You've already proven yourself, Alara. Now, show it what humans can do." She focused, letting her mind connect with the patterns. Slowly, deliberately, she began to manipulate the energy streams, creating alignments that were not only precise but also elegant. The chamber responded instantly, glowing brighter, humming with satisfaction. Hours passed in silence, broken only by the soft hum of the energy streams and the occasional word of guidance from Kale. Finally, the chamber pulsed with a final surge, and the energy streams converged into a single, radiant beam that shot toward the ceiling. The sphere at the center glowed brighter than ever, then projected a holographic map, a representation of the galaxy, filled with roots, energy fields, and knowledge that humanity had never known. Alara gasped, realizing that they now held the key to interstellar navigation and understanding on a scale beyond imagination. Kale turned to her, eyes shining with pride and awe. "Alara, humanity shines through you. You've proven it. You've shown the artifact that humans are capable of brilliance, creativity, and understanding that no AI can match." Her chest swelled with emotion. It wasn't just me," she said softly. "It was all of us. Humanity." Kale nodded, a faint smile on his lips. "Yes. But your spark was the key. That's why he hesitated, then added quietly, "That's why I kissed you. Only you could do this. Only you could unlock it." Alara felt heat rise to her cheeks. The memory of that kiss, combined with the immense responsibility and achievement, created a swirl of emotions she could hardly name. Pride, awe, excitement, and something deeper, a connection that went beyond words. She turned back to the holographic sphere, absorbing the knowledge, marveling at the beauty and intricacy of the artifact. And yet, she couldn't ignore the human connection beside her, the trust and faith Kale had placed in her. Outside, the nebula shimmered, alive and patient. Inside, Alara and Kale stood together, witnesses to the unlocking of a secret that had waited for centuries, a secret that recognized humanity's unique brilliance. For the first time, Alara truly understood what it meant to be human, not just intelligent or resourceful, but capable of wonder, creativity, and connection that no machine could ever replicate. Kale's hand brushed hers again, gentle and reassuring. "You've done it, Alara. And this is only the beginning." She nodded, a smile spreading across her face. "Yes, only the beginning." The chamber pulsed with light, acknowledging them, celebrating them, and opening the way for humanity's place among the stars. And in that moment, Alara knew that humans, guided by intuition, creativity, and the human spark, could achieve anything, even in the most alien and mysterious corners of the universe. The aurora's dawn floated gently inside the central chamber of the alien artifact. Light flowed from the walls like liquid gold, casting soft glows across the ship and the faces of its crew. At the center, the holographic sphere pulsed with energy, radiating knowledge that stretched far beyond human understanding. Alara Vega stood at the main console, her hands trembling slightly with awe and excitement. Captain Ryan Cale stood close by, his usual confidence tempered by wonder. He had watched Alara lead them through the tests, manipulate energy patterns, and connect with the artifact in ways no AI or human could replicate. Every step they had taken had proven the brilliance, intuition, and adaptability of humanity. "This is it," Cale whispered almost reverently. "The final revelation." Alara nodded, her eyes fixed on the glowing sphere. "It's incredible, the knowledge it holds. Navigation methods, energy systems, ways to harness cosmic phenomena, everything humanity has ever imagined and more." The artifact pulsed, responding to her thoughts, her understanding, and her intuition. It seemed alive, intelligent, and, most importantly, recognizing humans as worthy recipients of its secrets. "Captain," Alara said, her voice filled with excitement, "it's not just giving information. It's sharing a way to explore the galaxy safely, efficiently, even faster than light. We can reach places humanity never dreamed possible." Cale smiled faintly, pride shining in his eyes. "And all because you proved humans are more than machines." "That's what HFY really means, Alara. Humans shine because of intuition, creativity, and understanding. Not strength, not aggression, but brilliance of mind." Alara felt warmth spread through her chest at his words. His gaze held something deeper than admiration, trust, respect, and something personal she had felt since that first, sudden kiss. She hesitated, then said softly, "Captain, you were right. Only a human could do this." Cale's expression softened and he stepped closer. "Not just any human. You, Alara, you unlocked this. You proved the value of the human spark." Alara felt a thrill, not of pride alone, but of belonging. Humanity had always reached for the stars, but here, in this alien chamber, she understood what made humans unique: intuition, empathy, creativity, and courage. These qualities had guided them, not weapons or machines. The artifact pulsed again, and the holographic sphere expanded, revealing an enormous map of the galaxy. Pathways, energy currents, and safe routes were highlighted, secrets that could transform human exploration forever. "Alara, this is beyond anything humanity has ever known," Cale whispered. "We now have the knowledge to explore and thrive in ways no one imagined, and it recognizes humans. You." Her chest swelled with a mixture of pride, awe, and humility. We have to share this." Carefully, "Humanity isn't ready for all of it yet, but this will change everything." Cale nodded. "Yes, and they'll know that humans earned this. Not because of machines or power, but because of our mind, our spark." That's what the artifact saw. Alara looked at him and a memory surfaced. The kiss during that first heated argument aboard the ship. The words that had accompanied it, "That kiss was only for you," now carried a new meaning. It wasn't just a personal confession. It symbolized trust, recognition, and belief in humanity. "Captain," she said, a soft smile crossing her face, "I understand now why you kissed me. It wasn't just personal, it was faith, in me and in humanity." Cale returned her smile, warmth in his eyes. "Exactly. That kiss, it was only for you, because you represent what humans can achieve when given trust, freedom, and opportunity, and you've proven it." Alara's fingers hovered over the console, tracing the pathways of light in the holographic map. She could feel the possibilities stretching before her: routes through unknown space, energy sources to power colonies, techniques to protect ships in hazardous sectors, and insights into cosmic phenomena that had baffled scientists for centuries. "This is beautiful," she whispered. "It's like the universe itself is welcoming us, trusting us to explore, learn, and grow. And it's showing us that humans can do it because of our mind, our creativity, our spark." Cale stood behind her, quiet for a moment, then added softly, "And that's the heart of HFY, Alara. Humanity shines because of what no AI or machine can replicate: intuition, understanding, and courage. You've proven it." The ship's systems hummed in perfect harmony with the artifact, energy flowing smoothly through every circuit. Alara realized that this knowledge was not just for navigation or science. It was a gift, a recognition that humans could rise to challenges that machines could not. Suddenly, the holographic sphere projected a final sequence, a set of instructions encoded in energy patterns, showing how to stabilize interstellar pathways, harness cosmic energy safely, and avoid hazards that had destroyed countless exploratory vessels. It was a guide for the future of humanity's exploration. Alara's mind raced. Captain, this is everything. The artifact is giving us a future, safe, advanced, limitless, and it trusts humans to use it wisely. Kale nodded, a proud smile tugging at his lips. And it trusts you. You showed it what humans are capable of. You led the way. A quiet moment settled over the bridge. Outside, the nebula shimmered, alive and patient. Inside, Alara and Kale stood together, feeling the weight of what had been achieved. They had unlocked knowledge, proven humanity's brilliance, and built a connection with something beyond comprehension. Alara turned to Kale, her eyes shining. We did this together, but I know it wouldn't have worked without the human spark guiding it. That spark, it's in all of us. Kale placed a hand gently on her shoulder. And that's why I trusted you from the beginning. Not just because you're brilliant, but because you embody what makes humans extraordinary. And I'll say it again, that kiss. Alara laughed softly, the tension of the past days melting away. Yes, Captain, I remember, only for me. Yes, Kale said, smiling warmly. Only for you, and it always will be. The artifact pulsed one final time, sending waves of energy throughout the chamber. The light spread into the ship, stabilizing it completely. Every system hummed in perfect harmony. The knowledge it had shared was now theirs to protect, explore, and expand upon. Alara looked at the holographic galaxy, feeling a deep sense of responsibility. Humanity had been given a gift, not of power or weapons, but of understanding and opportunity, and it was now up to them to use it wisely. Captain, where do we go from here? She asked softly. Kale looked out at the nebula, the swirling colors reflecting in his eyes. We go forward, Alara. We explore, we learn, and we share what we discover. Humanity has been given a place among the stars, and it's our duty to rise to it, and we'll do it together. Alara nodded, her heart swelling with purpose and pride. Together, she agreed. As the Aurora's dawn sailed out of the chamber and back into open space, the nebula behind them shimmered one last time, a silent acknowledgement of humanity's triumph. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, waiting to be explored, mapped, and understood. Inside the ship, Alara and Kale stood side by side, ready to lead humanity into the next chapter. Knowledge, intuition, and creativity, the human spark, had proven victorious. The future was theirs to shape, and the galaxy was finally within reach. Kale turned to her, a faint smile on his lips. You've changed everything, Alara, and I knew you would. Alara met his gaze, feeling the warmth of connection and trust. And we'll keep changing it, Captain, together. The stars outside glimmered brighter than ever. The horizon stretched endlessly before them, and humanity, guided by intuition, creativity, and courage, was ready to shine across the universe.